Hello everyone, peace of Christ to all. Today we will speak about one more amazing miracle in the Quran. But before we continue, I want to warn people that's watching my video, it's mean you have to use your brain, and that is not suitable for Muslims. Just to give you like an attention, so you need to know if you are a Muslim, you better not to watch my video, because then you will use your brain and you will find that everything you heard is nothing but a joke. All right? In front of us we have an amazing miracle in the Quran, and I say amazing because simply it's amazing. Like, look at this, look at this, unbelievable, man. Look, the Muslims, they come with science, a book of science. They come with unbelievable discoveries just from one word in the Quran. This word, like, this is really amazing. The Quran used the word al-hubki, and that come to all these studies you will see down. And that word means supposedly furnished with paths. This word in the Quran is a discovery by itself. We need to sit down and study carefully, and you will find, look, do you see the lines? Do you see going there? What is this all have to do with this word? How this has happened? The use of this word in the verse is particularly wise, represent the current state of scientific knowledge in two aspects. The first, the orbit and paths in the universe are so dense. This is what the Quran is talking about. Unbelievable, unbelievable. You know, when a book of religion speak about anything, we have one of two ways to understand it. Either we take it a literate way, or we take it in a metaphorical way, right? Now, I will go with the Muslims and go with them, says that this is not about metaphorical, this is about a literate way. But then I need to ask myself, if Allah swear here by the paths in the sky, what all of this have to do with this oath about sky and paths? Like, does Allah speak about the Milky Way and the density of the space and the 1,000 kilometers? It's just one word. Allah swear by the path of heaven. Now, to make it more simple, just to show you how Muslims are a nation of confusion, the question is how this guy, he come with all this study out of one word in the Quran, when all the Muslim scholars before him, they could not even find what this word mean exactly. If we go to the interpretation of any Muslim scholar, this is Ibn Abbas, one of the highest scholars in Islam, chapter 51, verse number 7. By the heaven full of paths, this is another oath Allah swear by the seemly and the beautiful heaven that has paths. Okay, so what the paths mean? It has paths, but doesn't say what it is. And it's also said that is full of paths mean it has stars, the sun, and the moon. So have nothing to do what they are speaking here about science. It's just simple swear about things in the sky. It's not about those numbers and those they claim to be a miracle, etc. So out of one word they made a miracle. However, for me, I don't agree with the Muslim scholars about this one, because if it's about a location, that mean if you read the verse, it says by the heaven Dhatul Hubki. Dhatul Hubki. It doesn't say by the heaven full of paths. It says by the sky which has Al-Hubki. If we go to different interpretation, we will see the following. Let us see. This is a Jalalain, just to prove that I am right. He says, and by the heavens with all its tracks, meaning in pattern and meaning to turuq. Turuq mean ways, roads. roads. Now, to make it more easy to understand, Allah swear by the ways He created to go to heaven. And that make more sense, right? Because this is a religious book, and the whole idea of this book is about people going to heaven. And all of us, we know that Muhammad, he went to heaven using a mule, right? And how he went to the heaven, he used roads, he used turuq, which mean roads. If we go to the hadith, we will find the following. Actually, before the hadith, let's see the Quran. In chapter 17, verse number 1, it says, Allah praising Himself, He says, Subhanalladhi alladhi asra. Glory to Allah, which is very funny. You know, actually the verse doesn't say the word Allah, but He put it between two brackets. Glory to Allah, who did take His servant for a journey by night to the sacred mosque. And then from there He took him to heaven. Alright? So there is a journey, and there is a way, and there is a road to go to heaven. And this is what the verse is talking about. If we go to the hadith, we will find how the journey happened. This is Sahih Muslim, hadith number, book number 309, hadith number 001. It says, narrated by, and this is, by the way, this is very strong hadith. We can show it even in Sahih al-Bukhari too. Muhammad, he went to heaven by an animal. His name is Al-Buraq. What his name? Al-Buraq. That animal, Muhammad, he described him, and he called him animal, that he is white and long, longer than a donkey, but smaller than a mule. Alright? Who would place his hoof a distance equal to the range of the vision. Actually, in here they would put in the word in the way they want. So, guys, this guy, Muhammad, talking about the donkey which Allah He sent to him, and the distance between the first leg or foot and the back one is the same distance between here and the horizon. This is, excuse me, very, very, very long. He mounted in it, and then he took him to the temple in Jerusalem, and from there he went all the way to heaven. Alright? Then he took me to heaven. Now, in order for Muhammad to go to heaven, it must be there is a path, a way, a road, right? And then you will see the story that Muhammad, he entered heaven, and he is ascended from heaven, he go up from heaven to heaven, and there are 7 heavens, and each heaven have a door and have a guard and have a way and have a street, and the question repeats itself. So I'm not going to read the whole thing. You can read it by your own time. Simply, what this is talking about, that's Allah praising the ways of heaven He created. So have nothing to do with science, have nothing to do with all those numbers. Muslims are the last one to trust. And I'm not exaggerating. Don't ever trust a Muslim claim about anything. Because as you see, none of what they are saying even exists in their Quran, not even in the interpretation, so not even in the translation. So where they come with all these stories and all those numbers and all this fabrication? Simply, they have to, because they don't know what to do. They wanted to prove to you Islam is from God, but they are desperate. Same time, as long as I'm talking about this verse, I want to show you how stupid this verse is. Because if you listen to this chapter, actually not only the verse, you will see that this chapter is amazingly stupid and doesn't make sense. Listen with me.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful.
Note with me here that what he just read for us in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, it's not counted as number 1 verse. Which means the Muslims even adding verses to the Quran. Because if this is not from the Quran, why you add it? This is verse number 1, this is not part of it. You know what I mean? This is a proof that Muslims, when they say that they didn't fabricate, they are fabricators, because this is not part of the verse. They added those in the top of every chapter in the Quran as a fabrication. Then, let us see Allah swearing by what? And you will see how stupid it is.
By those that winnow with the winnowing.
What? By those that winnow with the winnowing? What is that?
and those that bear the burden of the rain.
Allah swear by those who bear the burden of the rain. What is that?
Of the rain, and those that glide with ease upon the sea.
And Allah swear by those who glide with the ease upon the sea. What is that?
On the sea, and those who distribute blessings by command.
Allah swear by all of those.
Command, lo, that wherewith ye are threatened is indeed true, and lo, the judgment will indeed befall by the heaven full of power.
So here you notice that he's talking about what? He's talking about judgment, and indeed is going to happen, and then the heaven's roads will come. So it's obviously it's about going to heaven. It's about going after you. Allah will judge you for your deed. Then Allah, He is swearing by the promises ways to go to heaven. You know, I promise you to go to heaven. And not to forget to mention that even the Islam and Allah and Muhammad, He taught that Muslims will pass over a bridge over the hellfire, and this is one of the paths to heaven. As you see in chapter 1 verse number 6, it says, guide us to the straight path, that is, show the way to it. And there is many hadith actually speak about the roads and the bridges, and this is one of them. This is an Islamic website, as you see, and this is Sahih al-Bukhari, hadith number 2308. Here you will see that Muhammad is speaking about a bridge where Muslims are going to pass over it, and in that bridge what will be done, some of the Muslims will walk through fire, and Allah will do barbecue for them, and this is how He purified them from their sin. So when the believer pass safely over the hellfire, they will be stopped at the bridge in between hell. So there is a bridge. Okay, this is literate, this is not metaphorical. And this bridge is called As-Siratul Mustaqim. So this bridge is between the hell and paradise, and they will be recommended, or like there will be questions, and you know, simply is like you will be punished for your sin for some time over this bridge, and then Allah will let you go inside heaven. So simply what the verse there is speaking about path is speaking about the ways to go to heaven. It has nothing to do with science, and it's not part of science. It's nothing but a fabrication of Muslims because they are desperate to make their book a scientific book. And you know, the Muslims do not notice how dangerous is what they do when they try to find science in the Quran, because you try to find science, people will find something else. And as long as we are in that chapter, let me show you a mistake in the chapter they are quoting from. I spoke before about the Quran speaking about the earth being flat. However, today, from the same chapter, we will talk about something else. And all things we have created by pairs. So, what mean here, pairs, is a male and female, etc. So, is that really accurate? And notice here, this is the interpretation, says, and all things we have created in the earth is made as pairs, which is female and male. Now we know that there is many animals. You know, some of them there is not even there is no male. The same animal can change itself to a female. However, I will let that go. But what about creatures like living creatures, who they are like virus or bacteria, and those are not male or female? There is one cells bacteria, you know, and there is and those, they don't really have any gender. They don't have sex. Actually, many animals they produce without sex. So when the Quran speaks that we made everything from pairs, male and female, this is absolutely a false statement. Anyway, my coming book is going to be very soon out, and it specifically speak about refuting the science of the Quran, showing the true meaning, not the fabricated meaning is made by the Muslims, and it's going to be posted very, very soon in Amazon.com, so you can have it. However, if you do not have my first book yet, which is The Deception of Allah, I advise you to read it and enjoy it. God bless, and as always we say, Islam is false and Christ is Lord.